Welcome back, team, on the journey to transform culture. I'm Steve, and I'll be your guide. Well, this evening, let's talk a little bit about resentment. We've all we all should hopefully understand what the definition or the idea of resentment is, but let's dig into it a little bit deeper than just on the surface. First of all, it can be frustration, anger, right? Resentment kind of embodies quite a few things that we're aware of. Those two being pretty obvious. Obviously, jealousy can be thrown in there as well. And I think the connotation of resentment is that it embodies a state of being. You have a resentment about a certain, you resent a certain person, or you resent an organization. You resent um, a policy. You resent, there's a lot of things you could resent. I mean, I guess you could throw food in there. I like to throw food in there. But you can throw food in there as well. Hey, I resent broccoli. It just really, it doesn't align with my highest good. And, but resentment, right? But you think about it, when you resent something, that's a commitment. Resentment is a commitment. How much of a commitment is it to resent something so much so that it holds an anchor point in your mind's eye or in your heart, in your head, that you resent something so much so that it now takes on a constancy. It takes on a somewhat of a permanence. You resent a certain person because they said a certain thing or did a certain thing or whatever, right? And that isn't to say that you can't be angry or upset or frustrated or even have resentment. But the idea of resentment kind of holds a little more permanence. It's really to say, no, that person, that entity, that thing, that food, whatever it is, I resent it. I just, that food cannot be on my kitchen counter. I resent it, right? And you may treat people like that. I don't know. Each to their own, I suppose. But think about the energy that goes into resenting something, the energy and the commitment that goes into resenting something that makes you plant a flag, guard that territory in your heart and your mind to hold space to be able to say, I resent this person, thing, whatever. That's a commitment. But it's also a commitment to a lot of wasted energy. And if you think about it, wasted energy is kind of a tax, right? You're paying for a tax that nobody else knows or likely cares about. You're holding a resentment, say, for a person that doesn't probably even know that you resent them, right? And and you're expending a lot of energy to resent people, things, ideas, and everything else. Now, you can not be aligned with a particular idea or ideology or thought process or logic flow, however we want to couch that. But when you start to resent something, that's saying that you're spending a lot of time, a lot of investment, a lot of energy, running around your corral to keep that horse of resentment, fed and watered and kept from running off. I would just suggest you open the corral gates and let that resentment go. And the reason why is you're spending time, energy, you're spending money on food for that resentment, and that's energy you could be spending on other constructive things, obviously, but for the things that you don't resent, right? You could be spending that energy and time and effort, thought on the things that you appreciate, the things that you value, the things that you love. And when you focus on those things, you're protecting love in your life. And typically, the things uh, that maybe have angered and frustrated us, and maybe we've had some, time to resent, because hey, we're human beings, it happens. But if we don't get past that, if we can't get past resentment, then the resentment only uh, is only eating at our own resources, mentally, emotionally, in our mind space, our heart space, and in our, literally in our physical lives. because we're spending time resenting certain things. This is the trouble. My mom was OCD, or is OCD, however you want to call it. It was OCD when I was a kid growing up. And you think about somebody who's, maybe severely OCD, that's basically a condition they got to deal with. But the time and energy of things that frustrate them, because they're just out of place, or something isn't just so, or something isn't just right. Or if you're a person who has to control everything, that can also be a situation where, maybe you're more frustrated, but maybe you resent it when other people aren't as neat and tidy and organized as you. Now, I have a thin layer of that myself. I'm not resentful about it, but I know that that's a thing that passes through my brain, and I just let that horse run right in one gate of the corral and run right out the back, because I know me. I know what I like for me, and I know what other people like, what they like, and I appreciate and I protect love for them by allowing that horse to run right through my corral and not waste time feeding it or watering it or spending a whole lot of time with it. Now, when you multiply the effects of many people working together, living together in a community, and then you have a lot of this going on, what you find is that the more people who start to resent, you start creating a web of resentment. And that resentment ends up creating more conflict and dividing people. And that is not protecting love. Division is not protecting love. Divisiveness is not protecting love. You cannot agree with somebody and not be divisive, right? You can say, well, I have a different perspective, and maybe I believe a different thing, but I respect that you don't. And hey, more power to you. Have a great life. Things are gravy. But if I take time to build a resentment toward a person who doesn't agree perfectly aligned with what I believe, now I'm hurting. The resentment is only hurting me if I'm doing that. Now multiply that out. There's tons of people out there. In fact, it's probably the 80-20 rule all over again. 80% of the people out there probably don't agree with 80% of everything that you believe in or think about or think that is true. I would just say, let that horse in one gate and go running right back out the back gate. And don't try to, let that horse of resentment run wild, run free, because you're only going to waste time trying to corral something that is only going to cost you time, energy, maybe literally, physically, time, energy, and money, and where you could be spending that on things that you appreciate and love. And I think that when you do that, when you do allow things to pass through and don't build up resentments toward other individuals or groups of people or foods, right? Since it's near dinner time, when you don't allow resentments to build up toward broccoli, I find that if I don't resent broccoli, broccoli just doesn't seem to care either. We get along great. So, to all you broccoli lovers out there, hey, good on you. Somebody has to love broccoli. I don't particularly love broccoli, but I don't resent broccoli because it's a waste of time and energy. So, just touching base today. Hope everybody's doing well. Remember, hit the good domino 3 to 5 times a day to uplift, inspire, motivate. Just help somebody out, give them a word of encouragement. When you do that, you're protecting love. And when we do that also, we're transforming culture. Not only, outside of us, but also we're transforming ourselves. And that's something to be appreciated. So have a wonderful day. Hit like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.